Alright guys, so today we are going to review the Nano Controller from Power A. But before I do that, quick disclaimer. My thoughts and opinions on this review are my own. This is not sponsored, but Power A did send me the controller to review for you guys. So I'm going to tell you everything that I found for this controller that I liked and what I didn't like. So that way you can make an educated decision of your own whether you should buy this. Spoiler warning. You might want to buy this. So make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up, subscribe if you guys are new, and don't forget to check down into the description where I will leave a link to the Nano Controller so you can go ahead and find out more information on the Power A website. Wow, can't speak today. Let's get to it. So this is the Nano Controller. It is slightly smaller than the regular enhanced wireless controller from Power A, and it is smaller than the Switch Pro controller as well. The buttons are kind of smushed together to take advantage, not take advantage, but to compensate for the lack of space on the controller itself. And don't let its small stature fool you. It does sit very nicely in your hands. Okay, so don't let that intimidate you, and don't let that be a reason as to why you shouldn't buy it. But let's talk about why you should buy it first, and then we'll go to what I don't like about it and maybe why you wouldn't buy it. Alright, so first things first, I wanted to give a side-by-side comparison between the Nano Controller and the Enhanced Wireless Controller. So you can see here, the Nano Controller is quite a bit smaller, which is okay. If I'm going to be honest with you, I actually prefer the Enhanced Wireless Controller size more. Same thing with the Switch Pro controller, but I'll tell you why in a second here. The button layout, or the buttons themselves, they feel a little bit smushy, but they do respond very well when you're playing games. I do wish that the triggers would have a little bit more of a feedback feeling, and that's not to say like the haptic feedback that you see in the PS5 controllers, but more so like just the way that the click on the buttons are on the bumpers and the triggers feel on all the other controllers that I'm used to using. They feel more responsive and you can hear them. But on the plus side, the fact that you can't hear this makes it nice. So if you're playing, say for example, your Switch in the bedroom and your significant other is sleeping, then yeah, this being nice and quiet, it helps quite a bit. So props to Power A for making it quiet. The joysticks feel very nice. Like they're very responsive. They don't seem to have any issues. I did extensive play times using this controller, as well as my kids. My kids love this controller. We'll get to that too. The controller, taking advantage of the joysticks, I was playing a lot of Mario Kart to be able to do that. I don't have Smash Brothers, or I would have tested on Smash Brothers as well. But on Mario Kart, the controls feel very, very smooth. They're responsive, just the way that they should be. So I'm glad that they put a lot of emphasis on the joysticks, because I've used some controllers from other manufacturers, and not saying Switch controllers in general, but like just other controllers, and the joysticks are sometimes not of the highest quality, and then they tend to get things like joystick drift, or they just stop responding, or they just become loose. So they did a good job with the joysticks. I really like that. The controller itself comes with a 6-foot USB-C charging cable, which I really do appreciate that they're using a USB-C charger or charging point, because everything is starting to go that way. It's a faster way of charging the batteries, and you get less latency usually in USB-C. It also comes with a nice drawstring bag, which I really appreciate. The drawstring bag, you have no idea. The drawstring bag allows you to put the controller inside the bag, obviously, but it protects it from the elements such as dust, dog hair, pet dander, things like that can get inside the controller via the joysticks. If you don't know that, getting dust and stuff like that inside the joysticks is the #1 killer of joysticks. So if dust and particles get inside here, it can affect the way that the response is. It can make the joystick stuck, and then you have to go ahead and take the controller apart to be able to clean it. So I do appreciate them putting the drawstring bag in there. Power A, if you're watching this, hopefully you put drawstring bags in all of your controllers moving forward. It will save you guys a headache from warranty claims and whatnot. I do know that, you know, it is a little bit more of a cost in manufacturing purposes, but overall, like, it will help to keep the controllers clean if the person using it remembers to put it into the drawstring bag. What I don't like about the controller, the D-pad. I don't like the D-pad for two reasons. One, it doesn't feel responsive enough when you're using it, as opposed to, say, the enhanced wireless controller. The D-pad feels a lot better on the enhanced wireless controller or on the PS5 or PS4 controllers. So I don't really like the way that the D-pad feels. I wouldn't recommend playing like a Street Fighter game with a D-pad or anything like that. The other thing too is the D-pad is very close to the joystick. So what happens a lot for me is if I push up on the joystick, or I'm sorry, on the D-pad, it pushes up on the joystick as well, and it causes like an extra movement. So if I'm trying to select something, then it puts it one up higher than what I want it to go, which is just a minor inconvenience in that regard. Another thing too is, like, my kids, like I said, my kids liked using this controller a lot. When I asked them if they prefer using this controller or if they prefer using the normal controllers, they preferred this one because it fits their hands better and it's easier for them to play the games. Now, if you're an adult, I don't recommend doing extensive playthroughs with this. For me, an extensive playthrough is anything more than 2 hours. To a lot of you guys, maybe that might be over an hour. But I found that over 2 hours, around then, is when my hands start to get tired from holding the controller in such a small position like this. It's very reminiscent to like an SNES controller, where they were smaller, and over time, as controllers got developed and everything else, they got bigger. So now, I mean, I'm kind of used to having a big controller like the PS5 controller or an Xbox controller or the Switch Pro controllers or the enhanced wireless controllers. So because of that, my hands start cramping up a little bit and hurting a little bit after about 2 hours. So I mean, that might vary from person to person, so just keep that in mind. Another thing too is that the battery life on this is phenomenal. Okay, on the back of the box, it says the battery life is up to 20 hours. I stopped keeping track after 25 hours because at that point I was like, you know what? This already shot past what the box was advertising it at. And at that point, anything else was just bonus. So for me, the battery life on this was well over 25 hours. And I couldn't be happier, because if you're advertising something like this and it says 20 hours on it, and that is what the box says, and you go beyond what you're advertising, props to you. Overall, it is a very well-made controller. I do like it a lot. My kids, though, are the ones who will benefit most from this. To give reference, my kids are 7 and 10 years old. So take that as you will. I can't really recommend this for an adult with larger hands. So if you're a really tall person, I wouldn't really recommend this for for an adult who has trouble gripping small controllers like this. It's not really made for you, but maybe for your spouse or maybe for your children. With that, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I do appreciate it. You can find this on various retailers. I think it's $49.99. So it's worth the value. It is, because the controller battery life is there. It's very well made. I mean, despite the little issues that I have with the D-pad and the cramping, it's still a very well made controller. So Power A, thank you so much for sending this to me. I would recommend this for people to buy, but just keep in mind that if you have larger hands, this is not really for you. With that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Next time I will be reviewing this controller, which is the Power A Enhanced Wireless. I call it Mark II because the previous Enhanced Wireless controllers took batteries, and this does not take AA's. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.